Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many
Welcome to the Kickin' It with Keith show. My name is Keith Marshall, and today is going to be a real interesting show. I have a ghost guest host again. This is, I think, her third or second time of being a ghost guest host for me. She's going to interview me a little bit. We're going to have a little interaction here together. It's going to be kind of fun. We're going to try to cover some very interesting topics. Some of our topics today might ruffle some feathers, but hey, you know, here at the Kickin' It with Keith show, if you've been watching me for the last 15 years and allowing me to come into your living room and you've been watching my show and supporting it, you know I'm going to always bring you the truth as much as I possibly can. You know, I wanted to be able to have this talk show to be able to bring my viewers something good and something different and just show them a little bit about me. And so, you know how I am and you know what I stand for. So today's show is going to be interesting. So I hope I can give you some information and inform you on different things that's going to be happening within the next 20 days after this show here. So first of all, I'd like to give praise and thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this would be possible. This is show number 226. I tell you, that's a long time. That's taping one show a month, you know, sometimes two. In the beginning of the time I did the Kickin' It with Keith show, we used to do a 30-minute segment. And now we're in an hour show. So, you know, I'm just really blessed that I'm able to still be able to come into your living rooms after 226 shows. And so far I haven't gotten any hate mail or anything like that. Nobody's told me I should stop doing it. So I'm going to keep doing it as long as you keep tuning in. So we can start off the show, first of all, with our vocabulary words. And we have a lengthy list this time, so you're going to have to bear with me. Then I'll get to my guests. My first word of the 226 show, and I want you to remember it, is vote. We're in some tough times now. It's going to affect each and every one of us. No matter who you vote for or what you vote for, you just need to vote. But make sure you do your research and get the right information to inform you on what issues you should vote for or what issues you shouldn't vote for. But vote for your best interests. All I could tell you is that there was a time that people couldn't vote, and we have that opportunity to do it now. So exercise your right. Do your research. Take a friend with you. Take your family member with you. Take your kids with you. Whatever you got to do, but get to that voting booth and vote, because your kid's life depends on it. A lot of rules and regulations and guidelines are going to be changed depending on what this outcome be. So I don't want you to say that the Kickin' It with Keith show didn't try to at least come and try to inform you, at least on my opinion or my viewpoint of what I think has been happening in this world. I'm a 66-year-old black man. I tell you, and that in itself is a story and a journey. If you ever like for me to share with you my story and then compare your story, and you'll see that, hey, you probably had an easier road. And so, you know, understanding is the best thing in the world. And so when you understand things and understand where people come from or where they've been, then maybe you can have a little empathy for them and understanding to be able to kind of lower the temperature a little bit and be kinder. My next word is truth. Even as a little kid, we're always taught to tell the truth and not tell lies. Telling the truth is the best thing in the world. It's the most honest thing to do. It's what you should do. And but sometimes we believe a lie is just as good as the truth as long as you get people to believe it. And that's the tough part about lying. But there's no truth in a lie, and there's no lie in truth. They're just what they are by themselves. So we always want to be able to tell the truth, and that's important to give you the right information. And there's a lot of misleading information out there. We have so many other avenues to get information from, and all information is not true. So you have to do your research. The next word is lie. Like I just told you, a lie Lying is just lying. This is not a good habit or a good practice. If you go to court and you lie, you're going to go to jail. Just remember that. My next word is honesty. You know, each of us need to have a little honesty inside of us, so we have a little compassion to care for people, your neighbors, your co-workers, and things like that. Honesty is really, really a good practice to have. It's a good thing to do. It makes you feel good inside, and people should be able to like to trust honest people, and that's important. Passion, we lack that sometimes because we're insensitive to other people's needs. Compassion, we need more of it. You need to see somebody need some help or hear someone needs some help. Volunteer. Show a little compassion. Help them across the street. Go get their groceries for them at the store. It's all kinds of ways you can show compassion. Just kind words, speaking to people, a smile. All those things are very important that we're missing in today's times. When we were younger, it was very important that we called people Mr. and Mrs. And nowadays, people call you by your first name. You know, so we've lost a lot of important factors that make us that make us good people. So, you know, maybe we can try to get some of those things back. And I wanted to just, you know, try to do that here at the Kickin' It with Keith show. Privilege. Oh, man, that's a word there, I tell you. A lot of people have had privileges to be able to have the opportunity to have a head start. I won't get too deep into that, but you know what I'm talking about. If we run a 100-yard race and you get to start 50 yards ahead of me, it would be pretty much impossible for me to beat you or even compete with you. So that's really, really important. Respect. We all need to start giving each other a little bit more respect. That's really, really important. We lack respect. Kids lack respect. Like I said, no one says Mr. or Mrs. anymore. And that comes with home training and parents teaching their kids Mr. and Mrs. and right from wrong. We all got to follow regulations, rules, and guidelines because our democracy, man, is at stake. All the things that you enjoy, all the things that you think you want to enjoy, watching your grandkids grow up into a healthy environment and a healthy world. You know, if you don't vote, you can't complain about what's going on in democracy. I never tell anybody who to vote for, but I think anybody with common sense, you'll do your research and you should come with a good common sense conclusion. Not a knee-jerk reaction, but hey, some real solid thinking. We all got 5 senses. Now is the time to use at least 4 of them. All right, life. Our life depends on it. Our youth depends on it. Their life. People in their 20s might not even make it to their 40 if we don't take care of what we need to take care of in today's times. There's not going to be any more future. You're not going to get to see your grandkids grow up because the world is just going to be so vile and corrupt and vicious, and nobody's going to care about each other. It's going to be dog eat dog. That's not no way that we want to live. God didn't create us that way. All this beautiful world he created us for to all enjoy, and we're destroying it daily. Let's have some values put back into our life. You know, that's really, really important. We used to have family values. Now we don't have family values anymore. Anything goes. It's nothing there anymore. It's kind of sad in a sense because young people are not going to even understand what it's like to have your grandmother cooking you something or sewing a dress for you. Those days are gone. The grandmothers have gotten younger and the kids have gotten more smarter. They don't really even have the opportunity to even learn how to do the basic things, wash, iron, cook, and clean, doing the things that you know that gets you through the day, that's important, household chores, you know, rather than sitting up watching Xbox or playing Xbox and just all those things. But the community, I mean, the lifestyle's changed, so what can you do about it? You know, we have a justice system that's for just some people. If you got money, you can get out of it. It used to be called Just Us. So just remember that. Brutality, one of the harshest things for a lot of people to ever understand. But if you ever experienced brutality, like me as a young black man growing up in Los Angeles, and you wouldn't understand me telling you about police brutality, but if I could tell you about it, you know, and you grow up in that time, you understand what I'm talking about. Today is not going to be a real easy show for me. You might not like me after today, and that's okay. but I'm going to always keep it real with you and be respectful for you. And that's all that matters. My dad always taught me, as long as you show respect, you should get respect. And that's what I'm going to do here. You know, I trust you as my audience to understand that, hey, I would never tell you anything that I don't believe in. And I expect you to give me your honest opinion too, and we can dialogue and talk about it. That's what it's called, communication. You know, integrity. We all need integrity. You know, I'm almost coming to tears when I'm talking about some of these words because they should be just automatic. You know, and I see young kids out there don't know what it's like to trust people. You know, don't know what it's like to have integrity, to go to school and respect your teachers and go there to want to learn. Because we know everything now because our kids grow up so fast. You know, they don't want to have to follow the rules, regulation, guidelines because they see what the older people are doing and they monkey see, monkey do. And that's not no way to go. So, you know, we're going to have to follow the rules, the guidelines, and start getting back some decency within ourselves as how we treat each other and respect each other. That's really, really important. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today about my vocabulary words. I probably went on a little longer. But I think it's mandatory that I do that today because this is going to be a real tough show for me. I might say some things today that might ruffle some feathers, but I'm willing to take that as an opportunity and a chance to do that. My heroes for my show, of course, is Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff, Tim Walz, Richard Pryor, Nelson Mandela, Shirley Chisholm, Muhammad Ali, James Clyburn, Elijah Cummings, all the ladies on The View, and my number one hero this month is Mr. James Brown. Because James Brown wrote some songs back in the time that really uplifted all of us as Americans and African Americans, Black Americans, whatever you want to call it. He had a song called This is a Man's World. I want you guys to go out there on YouTube and look it up and play that song and listen to the words. And he had another song that really inspired me as a young black man when he used to say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Something that gave us a platform to be able to stand on and be proud of our heritage, be proud of our color and our skin color, and not be ashamed of it, and be proud of that. And so those are some stepping stones that I got to have as a young kid. Muhammad Ali standing up, Dick Gregory, all kinds of, I mean, I can name umpteen amount of things. All these people are people that you like and love. You watch basketball, you watch football. You know what I mean? Hey, you have idols. You have people that you worship. But they're only people. Just remember that. But do your research. But we all need examples so we can have these people to try to, like, you know, as examples to be able to be better people and know how to treat people. So that's really important. So go out there and check out my man, James Brown. We come to the tough part about my show is my condolences. I'm going to try to hurry up and get through this because I want to get to my ghost host. Condolences for show number 226 is Mr. Tito Jackson of the Jackson 5. Boy, may he rest in peace. I think he was 70 years old, but Tito was a good guitar player, and he was a member of the Jackson 5. So, boy, I tell you, that must have been really interesting being a part of that family and having Michael Jackson as your brother, younger brother. James Earl Jones, Pete Rose, Chris Christopherson, Ethel Kennedy, Phil Donahue, Richard Simmons, John Olmos, and Miss Taylor and her family. Our condolences go out to her and her family for her grandson. He passed away. He was 33 years old, so we want to always keep them lifted up in prayers. All right, and I'm going to give my shout-outs to all my Kickin' In with Keith fans for 226 shows who keep me inspired, who tell me they watch my show and they like what I'm doing. So, hey, I wanted to let you know that, hey, I wanted to thank you very much. I wanted to give you a shout-out for watching my show. Also, I want to give a shout-out to my wife, Linda, because she inspires me and keeps me going. And it should be interesting talking to her today. My grandsons, AJ and Tyler, and my great-nephew, Derek. And I went to go see my grandson. Tyler played his little football for Ventura, little league. And I think they got one more game. They're going to try to make it to the playoffs. But it's really exciting to see the kids out there. But what I enjoy the most about going to the games is watching the parents and how they're supporting their kids, and they're there to support their kids. And if their parents only knew how much important that is to their kid. It's not whether the kid win the game, but knowing that they can look up in them stands and see their parents, they're supporting them. Their kids have already won. So I want you to remember that when you're out there supporting your kids in Little League and stuff, it's important that they see you. And you tell them that, hey, as long as you played your best, that's all that it matters. And that's good stuff, all right? To the Valley Fountain Church, my Valley Fountain Church, and to the last of the Golden Girls, Miss Maggie White, and to the Lompoc Parks and Recreation Dance and Fitness class. I tell you, I have a good fitness class on Mondays and Wednesdays at the Parks and Rec, and I tell you that's been going for the last, I'd say, 12, 13 years now. I think I'm on my 15th year. And I have a good group of ladies, and I wanted to give them a shout out and thank them for supporting me for the last 15 years. And we're going to have a good workout tonight, and that's going to be good. Then I want to give a shout out to my sister Carolyn. She's my oldest sister. I tell you, it's really, really nice to have an older sibling that's 14 years older than you that basically can tell you and fill in the gaps about the 1950s and the early 60s. And so I really, really appreciate her and her knowledge and stuff like that. So, all right. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest ghost host. And you can see I'm here representing. I got my Kamala shirt on.
Kamala shirt
on. I got my voting patch. And so I'm just letting you know, if you got to ask me who I'm voting for, then I'm going to tell you I'm voting for Kamala, as you can see. All right. So I want to introduce my guest ghost interviewer. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Well, welcome back to the Kickin It with Keith show for the second or third time. I hope you don't be a little rough on me, but I just want to tell you my guest ghost host. She's also my wife, and we have some very spirited conversations while we're together at home, and my wife is very opinionated, and so am I, and we do not agree on everything, but we come to a consensus to try to agree upon everything. So she's got some questions that she want to ask me, and I got some questions that I want to ask her, so I'm going to take the liberty to ask her the first question and just kind of like see, let me just see where she's at today. I'm going to even take off my glasses so I can make sure that, Linda, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
In your opinion, what makes this election different?
Well,
In your opinion.
It's a complete contrast. Honesty and integrity on one side, and criminal activity on the other side. It's like, for me, no contest.
So when you say honesty and integrity, what can you tell the audience that the integrity and honesty that you've seen on one side?
Well, I've seen Kamala be a prosecutor, which is already, you have to be honest. And when you prosecute, you have to show equity, and you have to just, it's almost like you're taught it, but it's actually, I think she has it just in her. It's not something really you can teach, but it seems like her parents taught her honesty. Do the right thing. And on the other side, we have someone who is dishonest, lies, cheats, and steals.
So do you think as just a normal American citizen, are those just basic values that should be important to all of us?
Yes, but for some reason it seems like it's not. I'm not sure what has gone wrong.
Well,
Barack Obama said it the other day. He said, when did that become acceptable? When did that become okay? It's like the whole world is turning their back on honesty, integrity. It's very important. Those are very important characteristics. Now, I'm sorry. What's your other question?
But when you say honesty and integrity, it's like those are basic principles that my parents instilled in me, to be honest and have integrity. So, I just assumed everyone had those qualities until you get older and you find out people are different.
Then you ran into someone who didn't have those.
Yes. And so, in today's times, I wonder about our youth. I wonder about, how How do they value integrity? You know, because I think we had a conversation one time about it was during the Olympics or something, and people were getting caught enhancing drugs and stuff. And you said something to the effect, people will do anything to win.
Right. And I said, I don't understand that because you're cheating yourself. How can you live with yourself with your gold medal knowing that you didn't do it honestly? I mean, you really have to look at yourself in the mirror. So that's always been a little confusing to me because I was always taught to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Real simple.
Yeah.
Not complicated.
I mean, that's probably out of this whole scenario. Which is many things, but I just think that integrity, honesty, and telling the truth. I mean, there's really nothing too much else. If you get those three things that you could go south with, as far as I'm concerned, if you have integrity, you want the best for yourself as well as others.
Well, it's just that you're going to try to do the right thing
And treat people the way you want to be treated.
Oh, that's an easy one. That's definitely how I was raised.
Yeah.
Don't mistreat anybody.
You know.
So now I got a question for you.
Okay, go ahead, Linda.
You said it's plain by your shirt who you're voting for.
Voting
Why exactly are you voting for her?
Well, you know, I want people to know that just because you're black, it doesn't mean that you're going to support black people. It doesn't mean you're going to support, men, because I'm a man. As a person, as a human being, I'm going to support another human being who has the same values that was instilled in me. Honesty, integrity, do the right thing, go to school, get a job, take care of your family, treat people the way you want to be treated, try to go to church, get some spirituality, get a job, take care of your family, watch your kids grow up in school. All those things, that's what I thought was the most important things.
And do you still think that way?
And now that I see that we're in 2024, I think somewhere in there we've lost it. We've changed where we don't have the family structure like the mother and the grandmother and the grandfather and that where the kids can get their great grandparents, and I think that family structure has diminished a little bit, so I think that's where we lost it. And so now it's like everything goes, and you hear things on the internet, and we have access to cell phones and stuff and get our information that way, and instead of getting it from your grandparents and your uncles and your aunts and stuff, where the family tradition is taken care of, where you represent that name. So that's if that answers what you asked me. You can ask a follow-up if you like.
Well, it kind of you diverted just a little bit. So I guess I could probably jump to, what do you think can save us? How can American democracy be saved, or American values, or
well,
I mean, do we need to restructure the homes? I
think it's getting the information, like the media. You have to have the right media, people giving you the right information. But also, when you receive this information, you need to do your research to double check. I think we just take a lot of things for granted. And I wish if we do more research, that's what can make a big difference, in my opinion.
And I mean, common sense, is that something we can teach this new generation? It doesn't seem like they have the common sense sometimes.
To make a decision about what's right and wrong?
Or what's the truth and what's not the truth.
They shouldn't believe everything, do the research.
That they read on the internet.
So you should be like the lady said, look it up?
Yeah, but then you got to make sure you know where to look it up. Because you can still go south, especially if you look at some of those TikTok videos or those reels that's on Facebook.
Well, let me ask you a question, Linda. Do you think we should hold our politicians accountable for their actions?
Yes, but I don't think people do that anymore.
How do you think we can change that?
Well, they need to figure out a way that they can let us know their voting patterns. because they get up there on the stump, as they call it, and give us the stump speech about, oh yeah, this is wonderful. And I mean, the example is all of them voted against, all the Republicans voted against the act to fix up everything around here. And you wouldn't know it by the fact that they stand up there and say, oh, look at the bridge for all the money I brought in for the bridge. And it's like, but you voted against it. So if the people don't know that, they think, oh, he's doing a good job. We got so much money in from the federal government for projects. So, but they didn't even vote for it.
And you think it's because we don't look up what these propositions are or what these things are to be able to make a valid decision?
Assessment. No one looks it up. You hear a 30-minute speech here, a 15-minute speech there, or if you hear it at all. Half of the people probably on the ballot, you don't even know who they are. And there has to be, I mean, I don't know, an easier way for people to research or to start caring. Do they even care about who the politicians are?
Going back to you asked me, why am I voting for Kamala Harris?
Yes, I did.
Kamala Harris? All right, okay, all right. Now, you right.
I mean, how much did you know about her?
Well, I put it to you like this. I probably knew about as much about her as anybody else because she never was the main figure to be checking out. She was always on the sideline doing whatever she was doing, like far as attorney general, and then she became vice president. I think I started paying more attention to her when she was chosen to be the vice president because that let me know Joe Biden had enough respect for her as being second in command. If something was to happen to him, everybody was talking about how old he was and these unnecessary things that they were saying about a person because we're all going to get old. Would you want those things said about you? So since it was said and done, I thought he was smart enough, at least for the American people, to bring a successor behind him that knew what they were doing was at least qualified. See, a lot of times in America, we won't give people their qualifications because we judge them on their appearance. Instead of us giving a fair shake. We're all human beings. If we ever get to where we respect about human beings and what the value we are to each other, the world could be a better place. As long as we bring in the woman or the black, the white, the Asian, the Latino, you just separate us all. Let's get back to the human. If she's the best person for the job and she's qualified, we should give her a shot. We've given all these men a shot for all these years, for over however many presidents we have. I think it's time, and I think it would be refreshing, and I think a lot of women would benefit from having someone that they can identify with about certain issues that are very important to their needs as well as everybody else's needs. There's nothing stronger in this world than a woman, in my opinion. There's nothing better on this earth than a woman, in my opinion. They're the source of life. So everybody has a mother. You see all the football players when they interview them on the sideline. They don't say, "Hey, Dad." Hey, Pops.
Maybe one.
I might have said, hey, shout out to my dad, because my mom ain't here. But most of them is, hey, Mom. They go get the ball to Mom because she's the source. She's basically taught you everything you know. So if you think a woman can't do the job, y'all, I don't know what the media is talking about.
Well, is that like the not using common sense again?
There it goes. There it goes back to not using common sense.
Because I always told you about 99% of the household, the women actually run the household.
Yes.
And so if they can run a household, they're using common sense, they're using judgment, they're using time management, they're using all those skills.
And I wish people would think back in the time where women didn't have rights. You talk about blacks.
Not too long ago.
You talk about blacks didn't have rights. Women didn't have rights. They couldn't get a checkbook. They couldn't get a loan.
They couldn't get credit cards.
White, black, green, blue, or purple, fat, straight, gay.
It was a long time they couldn't get credit cards.
Couldn't get credit cards. And that was just the women. It didn't matter what color you were. It was just women.
Yes.
So if you was a woman, you had certain restrictions on you.
Mm-hmm.
So now that those restrictions are off, You mean to tell me man is stupid enough to try to want to take you back? You know, like we say, we ain't going back. I know I ain't going back, but I know women generally. I'm gonna use my skills. I was a licensed cosmetologist for 40 years. I'm almost finished with my book called Confessions of a Hairdresser. Women has taught me everything I know. I know things about women that most guys will never get to know unless you have intimate conversations like that. For 40 years, women have educated me about things that are important to them. And all I can tell you, everything will change if we have a woman in charge. Because number one, she's going to do the most basic thing there is to keep us all functioning. And that's to pay attention to the details. Good or bad, she's going to pay attention to the details and make a good sound decision whether you like it or not. But from a woman's standpoint, from her natural ability, she's going to make the best sound decision, I think, more than any man could ever make. Because men are not going to think like a woman.
No, and sometimes it's for the better that women think. That's right.
I'm just telling you.
Well, it's like and sometimes men don't believe women can think for themselves. Man. We won't even get on that conversation.
We get a woman president, I don't care what color she is, what nationality is, or whatever, things are going to be different because she's not going to think like a man. She's going to think like a woman that's inclusive to what a man needs to because she's a nurturer. She's not here to harm something that she has babies. Women give life. They don't usually harm the things that they give life to. That's just in my personal opinion from the things I've talked to women in my hair salon for 40 years.
Yes.
See, I got room to talk about this. I could tell you things. I could tell guys, hey, man, women don't really need a lot. The one thing they want is you to listen to them, for you to hear them. If you hear them, really hear them, you will hear them and you will do the right thing.
Well, you know what a comedian told us once at his comedy show? A man only hears every third word. So be very selective about your third words.
So, let me ask you a question, Linda.
Oh, yes.
I won't ask you the one I think you were going to ask me. What scares you most about 4 more years of Donald Trump?
I barely survived the last 4 of Donald Trump. Every day it was something. And 2 years of his term was basically COVID. And it was just too much. Maybe I was listening to too much news. I should have turned him off. But 4 more years of that, every day there's something, I couldn't take it. He lies, he cheats, he's a criminal. I'm still trying to figure out why he has any supporters whatsoever.
So let me ask you a question, and I might change the subject here a little bit. But
I know, because you don't want me to talk bad about it.
No. Let's flip the script. I want the audience to understand.
Try to be nice, yes.
I want the audience to understand something about just how we are as human beings and how we have been indoctrinated to think certain ways and stuff like that. But let's just be honest. Do you think if Donald Trump was black, he would get away with any of the things that he's ever done in the last 6 years?
No.
Why do you think that?
Because he's black.
No, why do you think he would?
Well, being a black person, I know that's not true, but you would have hell and high water convincing some people in this country that that's a falsehood. That he would get away with whatever he wanted to get away with because he's rich, because he's this, because he's that. But they're not being honest with themselves. If he was black, he would have been in jail.
Well,
starting way back when he wouldn't rent to other black people.
What I didn't understand is what I try to understand. Me as a black man, I try to represent myself as a black man to where when other people meet other black men, they have something as a reference. I just felt so insulted when he had tennis shoes. And he figured that black people or black guys were going to Converse tennis shoes or something that was going to really change their lives.
And let's not forget the fact that he had a mugshot taken. So
And the mugshot and all these things,
all the black men were supposed to surround him because he's one of them now.
I'm just thinking us as human beings, is that the integrity or is that what you want your kids to be? I told my friend, we had a heated discussion. I said, let me ask you a question. Would you let your daughter spend the night at Donald Trump's house or Barack Obama's house? just hypothetical. For $1 million. No, you wouldn't let your kids stay there for all the tea in China. You just wouldn't do it. Because your integrity and the love you love for your kids, you wouldn't put them in harm's way like that because you know it would be in harm's way. So why are you guys acting so naive and cavalier? When I think about Tim Scott, when I think about Byron Donald, these are black men that, hey, I'm sitting there saying you can vote and be whatever you want to, but man, have a little integrity, about me to represent me as a black man. Forget if you're a Republican or Democrat. What about your representation to me as another black man? Make me understand. Don't just go that way and just say these things because we got little boys growing up and they see that stuff and they think that's the way to be. I ain't saying you can't be a Republican, but be a good Republican. If you're a good Republican, ain't nothing gonna change because your word is your bond. Your integrity is your bond. Your fairness is your bond. What comes out of your mouth will represent who you really, really are, not just talking points and saying things.
Well, that's always been a puzzle to me. What happened to the Republican Party that they basically allowed him to steal it? He basically stole it and convinced everybody this was the way to go.
Well, me, I thought.
And now he's back. I thought after the first 4 years he would be gone.
I think, like I said, we experienced the Barack Obama situation, and I think the world just changed because I think it was so bad in America they had to hire a black guy. It was so bad. If anybody want to go back and look at the times that we were facing then, it was so bad that, hey, man, he was a breath of fresh air. But the whole 8 years he was there, you never gave him the opportunity to do something to see the skill sets that he did have. Because there was always chaos.
I think it might be the opposite. Maybe he did too good of a job.
I don't think with the things that he was able to do, but not the things that would concern the whole world, like the struggle, it was more gun shootings and more gun violence and stuff. And so you take that time away to try to heal the country because, hey, gun violence, kids getting killed at Sandy Hook. I mean, that should have just tore us all up. But we went on about our business after 6 or 8 months like it's no big deal. But see, I can't even imagine if there was a school full of black kids, it really wouldn't have been nothing. Just like I seen they did in Navarre in Texas. It went on about their business. Now everybody just forgot all about it.
I know.
See, the gun violence and stuff, it's those things. See, we're in a 24-hour, we're in like a 7-Eleven cycle. Open all the time, 24, just all this stuff. And that's got to change. That's what I think it's got to really, really change. And for you young guys out there, young men out there, man, pay attention. Pay attention because, hey, the women in your life are going to be under attack. If you think things are rough now, if he gets back in, you better start getting your bank accounts together. You better find out where you're living because this is going to get rough. Jobs are going to be, we might be living in concentration camps. You talk about the immigrants. Well, like I said, I drive down 246 all the time. And I don't see no Caucasians and no black people out there trying to pick nothing out there in them fields. So if there are immigrants and they here and they willing to feed us, we should leave them alone. Give them an opportunity to give a chance. Because there's some American people here that need to leave anyway because they bad for us anyway. So let's tell it like it is. Anything else you want to talk about? I'm sorry. I'm just like I'm so mad and so upset and so frustrated at all of us. I got white friends, I got black friends, I got Asian friends, I got Latino friends. I got all kinds of cultures in my life, and I ain't got no problems with people. We all understand each other. I don't know where we get this, like we don't like each other and all this. I just don't understand it. Maybe it's the young generation, but I think, it's got to change, Linda. It's got to change.
I don't know how to change it. I'm going to vote to try to change it. I'm going to vote for, like you said earlier, for your own best interest. Mm-hmm. I don't understand these people who still say they haven't decided who to vote for.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kinda
is that
crazy.
truly a group of people out there? Or is that just the media? I mean,
I
are
think
there truly
that's
people who
probably-
haven't made up their
You know what,
mind?
Linda? I think that's probably just the media, because of the simple fact that if you haven't heard about what's going on in the world by now, then where have you been? Because I know everybody got their cell phone with them. You know, we're in a TikTok world, so you can't make me believe you don't know what's going on.
And
You
it's
can't
like,
make
you
me
know,
believe
using
that.
common sense again. All these immigrants want to come to this country because they're trying to get away from countries that we're becoming. I mean, it's almost the opposite effect. Why do you think they want to come here? Because of the countries are under dictatorships. The countries are, you know, fend for yourself and, and that kind of thing. And that's what it sounds like that's what they want it to become.
Well, you know, Linda, me
It
and you
doesn't
talk.
make any sense to
Me and
me.
you talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about a lot of stuff, and I know one of the main things you always really recite to me is the electoral college.
Oh, don't
know.
get me started.
I want to get you started because I mean, you really show a lot of passion about that, and I don't think people understand it. I really just understand it too, but now I'm realizing that, hey, you know, now I realize why when I was younger, why people say they didn't want to vote in California, because we the last ones to vote, and usually the
Election is decided
election
already.
is decided, so why vote? So see, you
Our
get-
polls are the last ones to close.
Our polls are the last ones to close. We got more electoral people number. We got 400 and something, but we the last to vote. So it's like we should be the first to vote. So you know, but it's just the way it's set up. The system has never been set up or designed for certain people to enhance themselves, better themselves, get ahead of it, or just be able to compete within normal things, having a house, having a good job, having a car, taking your kids out, buying them some shoes, just the normal basic essential things for families. That's what I thought a family was, but I mean, that's dwindling.
Yeah. But back to this electoral college.
And well, that's a part of it. The
Well,
electoral
part
college
of
makes
the
it dwindle.
problem is it's got to be one person, one vote.
Yeah.
Because we have a majority. No president has been in the last 2 times won the majority of the votes in the country, but yet they're the president. Very confusing. That's why a lot of people, I think, don't vote. Well, my vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
And that's a reason you think it
So
doesn't
if
count.
we change electoral college, you think that would
And we
eliminate?
need to change the Senate. Forget this filibuster business. We have 100 senators. It should take 51 to do anything we need to do, not 60. That's a problem. Nothing ever gets done there because, filibuster rules say we got to have 60 people agree. Well, how are you going to get 60 people to agree?
What do you say about when people say the economy was better 3-4 years ago? I mean, what economy were they talking about? I mean, we're talking about a person who's making minimum wage in their economy? You talking about a person who's making maybe $25 an hour economy? Or you talking about people who are already financially stable economy? Which economy are they talking about that they complained about? Because last time I went, hamburger meat's the same price at every store. So which economy are you talking about?
Well, now, I know prices have gone up,
Yes.
but is that truly the economy? Like they said, after COVID, everything went up. I equate it to all the stores have to make some money back because they lost money during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the prices are going to be higher. They're not that high yet, but I think, like the Democrats want to do, they want to put some controls on these companies that are, does McDonald's truly need to cost, a Big Mac shouldn't cost $9 now?
Yeah,
You know,
it
does it
ain't
really have to cost $9
and
now?
fast food ain't healthy for you anyway. So, you know what I mean? But, you know, when we're talking about the economy, you know, then I started looking at it. I know everybody's at different levels and stuff for its financial situations. But I look at sporting events. I haven't seen
Well, that's your thing.
I haven't seen one empty seat in any stadium. And there's 32 stadiums. And every Sunday, 16 of those stadiums are filled to capacity. There's how many games in a season? 16 games in a season?
18.
18
Well,
games?
18 weeks, 17 games
So
for each
9
one.
weeks, all of those stadiums are full to capacity. At the tickets, none under $100. And you talk about 100,000 people in the stadium. Somebody's got some money. Somebody's making some money. Somebody ain't worried about the economy. So when I start seeing them empty seats and you're not going to Laker games and Dodger games, and I can deal, then I can say, you know what, the economy's getting bad because the people with money, they stopped doing the things. They ain't nobody stopped doing nothing. They do. People still taking trips, flying all over the world. What economy are you talking about? You talking about the people who are already poor? Yeah, of course. You talking about the people who live in South Central Los Angeles, maybe in the lower income area? Yeah,
Well,
of course.
they haven't been going to those games and stuff in years.
Yeah. So what economy are you talking
So
about?
that economy for them hasn't changed, and it wasn't that great 4 years ago because then we got hit with COVID.
Yeah.
So I think people need to take that into account. We're just getting out of COVID.
And I'm going to talk to you brothers out there, too.
Uh-oh.
See, because I'm a black man, too. I'm just going to let you know what time it is, man. Look here. You guys need to, hey, you guys got more opportunities than your fathers and your grandfathers ever had to make it in this world. You got way more opportunity. You got a way better start than they got. They used to have to walk to school miles. Y'all can't even get a ride on a bus. You got to wait till some parent take you to school. And your school ain't but 2 blocks away. So, you know, we got to get up and start, hey, fighting for our lives back. It starts with respecting your ladies. You know, men, we got to have respect for ourselves before we can respect anybody else. And young brothers out there, y'all need to pay attention, man. If you worried about somebody hurting your feelings, Barack Obama hurting your feelings, come on, man, grow up. He ain't say nothing. He ain't talking about your mama. He just talking about, hey, y'all get together and do the things that hey, I fought for. Why did I go through all this to try to give you guys a start? And now y'all just throw it all away. I don't blame him for being mad. I'm not saying he was the most perfect president, but look what he came into. Like I said, Barack Obama never would have been president if the other guy hadn't have messed up so bad. That's how bad America got. Just think about that. And Barack Obama's half black. He ain't even all black. If he was a real brother, y'all would have been in trouble. I'm serious. Because a brother would have came in and did just like Donald Trump finna do. Change everything. No, we ain't going to the movies no more. We ain't doing it. You know, just that's
You're only
crazy
going to my
stuff.
movie.
Yeah, you go to my movie. Like I said, everybody got money in their pocket. I want you to get a good look at it. George Washington, Andrew Jackson, all them people that's on the dollar bill. I'm telling you, if Donald Trump gets in, your dollar bills are going to be none. You're going to have Trump bucks. Remember I said that. Like I had a couple shows ago, about a year ago, and we were talking about Joe Biden. And I said it here on this show, that Liz Cheney is going to be the next president in the Republican Party. And all my friends laughed at me and talked about me like I was a dog. Guess what? Liz Cheney was just on there with Kamala Harris endorsing her and her daddy. Now, if it's good enough for Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, I want you to think about it. Do the research on Dick Cheney. And he's voting for Kamala Harris, and y'all brothers got a problem with it? Man, I ain't tripping with y'all. Y'all tripping. You need to wake up. Let's pay attention. Get people to vote. Get somebody in your car. Go vote. Go do your registration. Like I tell my wife all the time. If you're going to complain, tell me how many doors you knocked on last week. Tell me how many phone calls you made.
And what did Michelle Obama tell you?
Do
something.
I'm doing something today. I'm doing this show today because Michelle Obama said, what are you going to do? I'm taking my platform from Kickin' It with Keith. I've been on the air for 15 years. This is my 226th show. So I think I've earned the right to be able to come on and express myself. If you guys didn't like my shows, I wouldn't have been 226. So evidently you like my shows. If you ever want to be a guest, you know they're more than welcome. But I'm telling you now, I'm asking you guys to rethink what we're going to be encumbering in the next 22 days, 25 days. Get people to vote. Get people to pay attention. Like Haraji P. Hansen said, look it up. Look it up. If you're in doubt about anything that you think you uninformed about, look it up. It's on the internet. Look it up. Get informed. Find out how you can be a part of it. Knock on some doors. Say I'm going to rent a van and rent some Uber cars and get people to the polls. That's getting involved. It makes a difference. If everybody does a little bit of something, believe me, the world starts moving. It's like little acts of kindness. If everybody starts giving little acts of kindness, things start moving positively. All right, I know I'm running out of time. How much time I got here, Alex? I mean, we got about 10 minutes. Okay, Linda, give me one more good question.
One more good question. Oh, why do you think Kamala picked Waltz to be her running mate?
Okay, I thought you was going to ask me what do I think of J.D. Vance.
Oh, I can't even go there. He gives me a headache.
Hey, you know, what it is like about J.D. Vance, I just want people out there to think again. Okay, you elect Donald Trump. Donald Trump's 78 years old. He look like he's slowing down a little bit each and every day. I ain't talking about nobody, but action speaks louder than words. He's mumbling his words. He's stumbling and bumbling. Just think, if something happens to Donald Trump, your president is J.D. Vance.
Who can't even order donuts.
He can't order donuts. But I'm just saying, you know how you feel about women. And I'm just surprised at all you ladies out there. Usually ladies will unite and fight. Y'all need to unite and fight against this here, because like I'm telling you, he's going to take your rights. And if you got there as a parent or have a daughter, you know, hey, you really, really need to pay attention to this, because your women fought for those rights for years. You think blacks didn't have no rights? You think blacks didn't have no rights? Women sure didn't have no rights, whether you was white, black, green, blue, or purple, fat, straight, gay, whatever. Women did not have any rights. You need to look it up. Look it up, and then tell me what time it is. Is that cool enough, Linda?
Yeah, but I like Waltz.
Okay, Waltz. Why did she pick Waltz?
Yeah.
I think she made the best decision with Waltz. That was like
we had no idea.
That was like a Joe Frazier left hook, because she hit you with somebody that, hey, looks like America, is America, as rural as America as you would get. But the number one thing about Mr. Waltz, he's a teacher. And I don't care. If kids don't respect you, you will know it. But until I see a teenager that's under his care in one of them schools come out and say something about it, then I will believe it. But I haven't seen one kid. And I'll tell you like this, and I'll leave the show with this note. This guy has compassion about people. He had a student that was an LGBT student, and wanted to start a group. This man here showed this student more compassion than we could show anybody in this world, because he took the time to listen and said, I'll be a part with you. Going against his principles and his values, but he seen a human being, and it was more important at that time that he give that kid love and attention as a teacher and support him. That's what we need. That's the kind of person that I think, if Kamala Harris could pick a person like that, I'm riding and dying with you. Because I tell you, I look at who you hang with, who you roll with, who you ride with. Like my mother used to always tell me, boy, don't get in that car with them boys. They going to do bad. Now, they're my friends. Well, your friends going to do you in. I guarantee you. So Tim Waltz was a great pick. The best pick.
Unexpected.
Joe Frazier left hook, and Tim, go out there and keep knocking them down. Because, see, rural America ain't going to jump on you like they would jump on me. See, because you could tell them like it is. Tell it like it is. Tell them they're wrong. Tell them they're wrong, and they'll be okay. They'll get over it. Okay? That's all I'm talking about. All right.
Vote.
All right, Dr. Draw. And,
when is
Alex,
the election day?
Election day is November the 5th.
Next
if you get your ballots, put them in earlier. Okay, put them in earlier.
We already did.
Linda, we got about 6 more minutes. Is anything you wanted to say about your experience today?
No. I think we just got to safeguard the right for Black Americans and other minorities to vote. We have to make sure we pass that John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act that has been stalled in Congress.
I think about John Lewis and all the people before us, Linda, that passed on. I just, Muhammad Ali, Medgar Evers.
I've just always voted my adult life, and I just don't see why people don't vote. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It takes you maybe 10 minutes if it's a long ballot.
Yeah, why you wouldn't exercise that right,
In California, they mail it to you.
Yeah.
If you're registered already.
That's what I want you black men to think about, men in general, that, hey, man, black men used to couldn't vote. But there were some black men before us that, hey, pioneers, man, that, hey, walked across bridges Just think, I can't even get a brother.
Well, people died for that right.
Died for that right. I can't even get somebody to walk across the street with me. Man, what you gonna give me? You buy me a beer? No, man, just can't you walk with me? But these guys got people to walk with them. I always wondered, boy, that strength there was definitely deep. And that's culture. And that's why we're so strong. Because our forefathers, hey man, they set the pathway. And you know, if you thought those men were strong, you better believe they had dynamic black women behind them that was more strength than you could ever pick up in your lifetime. So I'm going to tell you black ladies out there, y'all got the torch now. Support Kamala Harris. You'll have somebody in there that look like you, think like you, and hey, ain't nothing like a woman. That's all I can tell you. You want your woman power? Get out there and vote for the sister and watch her work. She's there for all of y'all. Just remember, she's there for all of your rights. Not just for white rights, black rights, gay rights, all your rights. Just remember that. That lady's going to have your back. Have her back. So I want everybody to get out there and vote. I want to hear this stuff about I didn't vote. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in show number 226. God bless everybody and have a good day. And we're going to do this, okay? I want you to come back and show number 227, and we'll be celebrating about Kamala Harris' victory. All right, Dr. Draw and Alex out there, thanks for everything. Talk to you later. God bless you. Have a good day. Keep the peace.
Keep the peace.